Grobbendonk. Grobbendonk is a municipality in the province of Antwerp and more specifically in the Antwerp canton. It is located on the Klein Niet, the Albert Canal and the E313 motorway. About 20 pigeon fanciers still cross their swords every week. JOHAN Donckers, a top pigeon fancier and last season the general provincial champion Antwerp. Johan is an interior design teacher at a Buso school in Heistop Den Burg. He races speed in Pulle, het verband, short middle distance in Pulle, Mechelen region, and long middle distance in Chilled, Kempik long distance club. In his hobby, he gets help from his wife Suzi when he has to work. This means that she then releases the youngsters and calls them back in on the days when she is not working and Johan is out of work. Coronavirus. The only negative thing about corona in pigeon sport for me is that social contact has completely disappeared, especially during basketing and opening the bells. The positive thing was that I was not allowed to work for 3.5 months and that during this period I was able to train my youngsters very well, which in retrospect may have been an advantage. But I try to look at life on the bright side. We will probably all come into contact with the coronavirus sooner or later. It is there and we will have to take it into account for a long time to come. Johan says. First fancy pigeons. My father had no pigeons. But when I was 9 to 10 years old, I had some fancy pigeons sitting in a small loft made in the chicken coop. It was my father's uncle, Jos Wouters from Pulle, and his brother-in-law, Jos Cools from Pulle, who persuaded me to keep racing pigeons instead of show pigeons. And so racing pigeons were first started in 1975. The first season, 1975, was anything but good and no prizes were won that year. It was not until the end of August 1976 that I could win my first prize, and 2 weeks later I was able to score my first prize. My first entry in the championships was in 1979 with the youngsters from Noyen. Since 1981 I have been with the champions every year. Classic widowhood is raced with old and yearling pigeons with a partner who always stays at home. This both with cocks and hens. I tried total widowhood for 2 years and I didn't like it. It will be an ideal system if you race all pigeons on the same flight, but speed on Sunday and short and long middle distance on Saturday is very difficult to combine. The youngsters are raced on the sliding door. Base of the colony. My first pigeons that I had success with came from local fanciers such as Jos Wouters, Jos Cools and René Smulders, all from Pulle. A few years later, reinforcements arrived from Jos Salien from Grobbendonk and Frans Peters from Versel. The pigeons that I buy are usually purchases through a voucher to support the local associations. The vouchers I bought and are still buying come from enthusiasts from the region I have to play against, and who also play very well. So my direct competitors. To name just a few names, Leo Hermans, Gust Jansen, Gebroders van Hove, Eddie Janssens, Peter Knights, Danny van Dyke, Rick Hermans, Leo Auwers, Cyril Lambrechts and I may have forgotten a few. In the early 2000s I also exchanged pigeons with Gust Jansen and Gebroders van Hove, both from Beers. In 2014, 2016 and 2017 I bought pigeons from Karel Lennon, Rudy van Rieth from Herenthout. The offspring of a hen from Leo Hermans gave several good pigeons as well as from a hen from Eddie Janssens. From a hen of Danny van Dyke, I have bred several good pigeons with my 2 old stock cocks that are currently still proving in my breeding loft. The pigeons obtained from Karel Lennon, Rudy van Rieth, were a bullseye. A son and a daughter from the pit bull in particular have already proven their breeding value several times. Selection by results. The selection of the pigeons here is usually based on the results. The 60 old birds and yearling pigeons with which I started the 2020 season, 17 remain for the 2021 season and 5 have gone to the breeding loft. Selection on the model is rather rare, but it usually concerns a brother or sister of a very good pigeon who also has a very good model. A pigeon that you think has everything to fly well when you take it in your hand. There are good pigeons among all kinds of pigeons, but I like to see a pigeon that fits well in the hand and that forms a perfect whole. Is it a big or a small one? With me they all get a fair chance. A donkey never becomes a racehorse, and so I don't make a good pigeon out of a bad pigeon, and we usually have too many of those bad pigeons in our loft. The pedigree can be very important if you know how those pigeons grow and evolve. All the youngsters that I bred in recent years from my 3 old breeding cocks and with which I raced as a youngster were allowed to stay anyway to show what they were worth as a yearling. These pigeons usually got better as they got older. So you can see that pedigree can really mean something for a pigeon. But the pedigree of youngsters that I breed from pigeons that I have acquired is not taken into account in the selection. National winner. The national winner Chateauroux Old Pigeons got the name Lenny. Lenny B. 1961-1063 is a marvelous hen who already earned her spot in the racing team by setting nice results. Let's have a look. 2019. Queen, 256th against 1,410 pigeons, 60th against 1,313 pigeons, and 7th against 1,314 pigeons. Nguyen, 585th against 2,377 pigeons, 112th against 1,828 pigeons, 104th against 1,805 pigeons, 99th against 1,556 pigeons, 98th against 1,803 pigeons, 4th against 1,362 pigeons, 8th against 1,141 pigeons, and 35th against 874 pigeons. 11 prizes on 13 races, whereof 9 per 10. 2021. Bourgs 74th against 698 pigeons, Kempish Club 459th against 4,313 pigeons, Provincial 618th against 5,243 pigeons, Zone B2 4,441st against 34,311 pigeons. 1st Kempish Club, 1st Provincial, 1st Zone B2, 1st National. Thank you for watching. Until next time.